A lot of people say that, when these people go out here and say, advocate for marijuana, people who use marijuana or support using marijuana, and it causes them to buy it from illegal sources, Mexico, things like that, and adds to the problem with the drug cartels down there.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
Okay, there was just recently there's a video. I think there's just a statement or a clip out of some big cartel leader in Mexico basically thanking prohibition in the United States for making him a rich man. That's terrible. When people out there, people who use cannabis or, resort to getting this from a source that is out there killing, thousands of harmless people to bring their, the illegal substances across the border. That's awful. It shouldn't be that way. Instead of having people have to resort to those means to use cannabis, we should take advantage of that, grow it ourselves, create jobs. Create jobs. There's tons of people out there that know what they're doing. There's a lot of people out there out of work that can be taught. It's simple once you, it's a pretty simple process once you understand what's going on. So, there's no reason why we should be spending that much money. Well, people shouldn't have to be spending that much money that way in order to use a safer alternative, in their lifestyle.
And so what do you tell to your followers, or not followers, but people who come out to your rallies and things like that until that point? Do you say, put down the joint because it's hurting Mexico and hurting people until it's legalized? Or do you say, smoke it up until that time?
Well, Norml, as a chapter, I say, we don't advocate breaking the law. We're trying to change the law, but we can't control what people do, and we know, where our target audience is. We know who we're speaking to. If you do it home. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you do, if you don't want to send your money to these Mexican drug cartels, buy home.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem at all. And Sunrise Live, they'll be playing at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. Then we have our information set up over here where Gum Represent will be showing a couple of my Union, Raz, and I want you to
you'll get tons of jobs. Anything else? Cannabinoids A, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer, all these things will come up with many peer-reviewed journal things, not just blogs and people's opinions like myself or so, but actual peer-reviewed journals, the Journal of Psychology, Journal of American Medical Association, all these journals that have studies and everything that show that cannabis does not cause the problems that the government so-called say, like the brain cells killing cancer. It's shown to cure cancer. There's a gentleman by the name of Rick Simpson up in Canada who has actually shown that it has cured multiple cancer patients due to skin cancer by rubbing very strong hemp oil on. So, things like that. If you do the research and reviews and you use professional, scientific, viable, and reliable source information, you will realize that it's a great plant. It has so many medicinal values and things that can be done out there, even things that we don't even know yet. Because the government has put it in a Schedule 1 substance category, which has no medicinal value and is extremely addictive, that limits the ability to be able to test those drugs, basically. You can't test them. You can't use them in studies because they have no medicinal values, which is completely ridiculous as well because, and so I'm sorry if I just keep ranting because I can keep going, but the government says it is a Schedule 1 narcotic, yet the government also gives patients in the United States marijuana every month. They made up a program back in the 70s or the 80s, it was called the IND, it was an investigational new drug program, and where they used investigational drugs like marijuana to find out if they were beneficial. And they decided yes. They gave, at the time there was, excuse me for not knowing the number, it's somewhere between 10 and 24, I think it's more towards that higher number, of patients that they had given over time. But currently there's 3 surviving patients. The other ones passed away due to the ailments in which they were using cannabis to relieve. So there's 3 still alive though, but there's a guy who lives down in Florida who gets a tin of 300 pre-rolled marijuana cigarettes every month from the United States government, the federal government, not a state government, which it is legal in 15 states currently, but the federal government. Yet they've got it in Schedule 1. I mean, that's got to be a question. You got to wonder that sort of thing. So back to your question a little bit more about like the medicinal aspects is that yes, it has a lot of good things. And as for it being a drug and a gateway drug, the gateway drug theory, there are two different principles to that. In the earlier years of the Reefer Madness era, they said that it was a gateway drug, and that it had actual properties in it that made you like physical things that would make you get hooked and want to go for more. There's that aspect which has just been proven completely wrong. I mean, there's nothing in it that is physically addicting to it in any sorts. And then.
I'll realize that.
You going out, Dezz?
Oh, the gateway theory. Yes. And then there's the gateway theory of just of it leading to other things, in which you could say in terms of that because of its illegality, when you go to someone to go purchase your marijuana, who's usually a drug dealer is usually, there are ones that are just straight marijuana dealers, but then there are a lot of drug dealers that are marijuana, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, ketamine, all these crazy drugs that when you go to them and they say, and you're like, hey man, can I get a bag of weed? And they're like, man, dude, I don't got any weed, but I got these little pills here, or I got this little powder or something, and they're like, well, all right, I guess so. I mean, the government told me that marijuana and heroin are in the same category of drug, and I smoke weed all the time, and I'm fine. Well, yeah, I guess I'll try your heroin out, sure. In that aspect of a gateway theory, yes, it can be seen as that way, but the only reason is because it's illegal. You take it, you make it legal, and you take it out of the hands of the drug dealers and put it in tax-regulated government shops. You don't have the problem with that. You're not going to go to that drug dealer who's got all these drugs. You're going to go to a sanctioned shop that has marijuana and marijuana only. So that gateway theory goes away.
And finally, first, your year as a grad student. How many years have you been a grad student?
I've been a grad student for 2 years now, and I will graduate this upcoming December. I'm going to be starting my internship at a drug and alcohol center.
And as a counselor, how do you expect your experiences with weed to affect the way you counsel others?
Well, I view marijuana can be viewed as just like any other substance. I mean, even coming down to water and food, anything that you put into your body or even put into your life, it can be categorized. Just like things like, again, TV, sex, booze, all these things used in moderation and used correctly can be okay, just like marijuana. But just like alcohol and any other drugs or any other thing that you put into your life, if you don't moderate your use and you abuse it, that's a problem. And again, same thing, like, I mean, just to food. If you abuse food, that's a problem. That's an issue in your life. We don't make food illegal. Same thing with marijuana. But back to my patients, again, the people that are going to be seeing me for drug and alcohol counseling are coming there because they have a problem, they have a struggle. And yes, I believe that people that struggle with drugs and alcohol should not smoke weed. It does, it can alter your perception. It can alter the way you feel. And within the addiction counseling world, it is an accepted fact that we do not put any substance, any mind-altering substance into our bodies to make sure that there is no relapse of drugs. That's something that the people that we come into me will make a choice with. So when I go there and they say, hey, well, I saw you out the other day trying to legalize weed, like, you cool with me smoking weed? No, I'm sorry, no, I'm not, because the way you've approached it is not responsible. And that's one of the biggest things we preach at Norml is a responsible adult's use for cannabis.